As everyone knows, the baby boomers have a lot of money that is sitting in the hands of registered investment advisors. That's a huge amount of money. This is the richest age group in the history of the world. They are going to die. He was caught and sold, just like Charlie Munger died. Younger people are getting that money, and young people like crypto. As wealth changes hands from one generation to the next, it turns into a group that is very happy with digital assets. That's the one thing. The second is that our government can't keep its pants on, just like our left and right governments can't stop spending money. As citizens, Congress is not doing its job. They spend too much money. That's the story behind why Bitcoin keeps going up. Even though it's only been 5 months, 2024 is already shaping up to be a big year for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Business. After 10 years of rejections, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission finally gave the go-ahead for a few spot Bitcoin ETFs in January. Bitcoin and other crypto assets prices have gone up a lot thanks to the success of spot Bitcoin ETFs like BlackRock's eShares Bitcoin Trust and Fidelity's Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund. Bitcoin reached a new all-time high of $770,000 in March, which was a major turning point in history. Overall, Bitcoin's value has grown by more than 150% in the past year, which means that the market is now positive. Since spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved, there have been a few other important events, but none as important as the changes in regulations. Mike Novogratz, CEO of Galaxy Digital, says that we are seeing the biggest changes in politics since Bitcoin began. The U.S. Senate's choice to get rid of the SEC's Staff Accounting Bulletin 121 on May 16, 2024, shows that lawmakers from both parties want to make the crypto industry's regulatory environment more fair. The cryptocurrency business has won a big battle with this action and the passing of the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Act by the U.S. House of Representatives. Novogratz stressed how important these changes to regulations were and how they could bring tens of trillions of dollars into Bitcoin and other digital assets in the crypto political scene over the last 2 weeks. And it all began with a pretty strange letter from the House that said President Biden will kill the bill to overturn SAB 21. It's also interesting that the president said ahead of time that he would cancel a complicated accounting rule that the SEC had put forward. You're like, why? And Trump, not the smart political machine, says, wait a minute, I am going to be mayor of crypto. A lot of people like Bitcoin. I don't really like it, but I tell you to like it. I'm going to back you up. I am going to be your leader. It's been years since Ivan was in DC, telling people that this should be a problem for both parties. It needs to be a problem for both sides. Men who are Democrats, I'm telling you not to keep poking the beast. That's the day the beast was poked. Okay. It was tweet, wow. The Democratic Party wants to be known as the group that doesn't like dogs. Okay, in the US, there are more crypto owners than dog owners, and many of them only vote for one topic. That was it for that week. On crypto Twitter, you might have seen it. Things got rough. It almost turned into a test of innocence. You're not really a crypto guy because you don't vote Republican. That was heard by the Democratic Party. So what did you see? First, you saw 10 or 9 Democratic senators cross the line on SAB 2121, which is a complicated accounting rule that will let trade finance experts into our space. Okay, that's a big deal, especially since Senator Schumer is from New York, which has a lot of crypto jobs. He is the leader of the Senate. Next day or the next day, the SEC tells all ETF applicants, well, get ready what took place. I have no idea. Someone from the White House must have called Mr. Gensler and told him, dude, you need to change your mind. The only thing that makes sense is that. I wasn't there, of course. I'm not sure. But we're about to get an ETF. There was a lot of power in secret politics that Elizabeth Warren held. Everything that happened in the last 2 weeks was enough for her party, they said. You've put us in a tough spot with this huge group of crypto votes during a very close election year, and we don't like it. That's why this can be seen as a big no to Elizabeth Warren in many ways. It's good for everyone because it's moving things forward. Okay, we did well on FIT 121. That's a good start. That is in the Senate right now. Okay, how things work in DC. Okay. Bills are passed by the House, and rules are made by the Senate and the Republicans. Deb Stabenow, the senator from Michigan, is the most important person right now. Okay, she is the chair of the Ad Committee, which is where the Senate version of this bill will come from. It will be made by people from both parties. And if that passes, Schumer will put it to a vote. It will become law if it passes. The two most important things that will change crypto in the US are the market infrastructure bill and this accounting rule that is being made official. Okay, just what does the rule in accounting do? The biggest vaults in the world, Bank of New York and State Street, can now start holding crypto in the market structure bill. This is not good for me because the next day Citibank will be calling headhunters to find my workers. Wall Street as a whole hasn't joined the digital markets yet, though, because regulators aren't sure what will happen. People are afraid that the Federal Reserve will call them and say, no, you can't do that. They think the SEC will be snooping around them. They think that, like almost all crypto companies, they will get a Wells warning. As soon as that goes away, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, Jefferies, and everyone else will rush into this area. There are some ways in which I hope it gets pushed back a little. Guys like us can get a little stronger because that's when the big show is about who will serve the world. So, yes, the first people to say I want some of this were wealth management clients. You should also know that Morgan Stanley needs the ETF to season for a little over 3 months before their salespeople can pick up the phone and say, hey, guy in the white hat in the front row, I believe you should invest 2% of your money in Bitcoin. Also, keep in mind that not only people buy Bitcoin, they get orange bumps, you can buy Bitcoin. Okay, there is an army. You're all a part of the group that persuaded someone of the value of Bitcoin, a theory, or a ripple, if you're Brad Garlinghouse. Okay, it's a new asset, so this is a very interesting point. It's sold almost all the time. Larry Fink was hit with orange pills. He didn't just wake up one morning and pray to God to help him start a Bitcoin company. 10 to 12 people worked hard to persuade them that Bitcoin was important for the future. Now, there are hundreds of salespeople at Morgan Stanley and the other RIA all over the United States who are learning the story on their own and calling their clients to tell them to put 2% of their account in the stock market. What's making you scared? Okay. We are beginning to talk about that. We're talking about 10 years, not 10 weeks. People really like 2 things. As everyone knows, the baby boomers have a lot of money that is sitting in the hands of registered investment advisors. That's a huge amount of money. This is the richest age group in the history of the world. They are going to die. Charlie Munger died, was arrested, and his money was sold. Now that money is going to younger people, and younger people like crypto. The wealth of different generations is changing, and now there is a group that is very happy with digital assets. They feel safe with them and think that this is their asset class. That's the one thing. The second thing is that our government is shitholes. It seems like our government is always spending money on both sides. As citizens, Congress is not doing its job. They spend too much money. That's the story behind why Bitcoin keeps going up. The story